It started on a Tuesday. The kind of day that smells like burnt toast and printer toner. Nothing heroic. Nothing tragic. Just another square on the calendar. Except it wasn't just any Tuesday. It was our wedding anniversary. 10 years. A full decade of monogamy, shared bills, silent dinners, and matching pajamas at Christmas. I had flowers in my passenger seat, overpriced sushi on speed dial, and an awkward little speech rehearsed in my head about how we'd made it this far, despite everything. Despite everything. That phrase should have been a warning flare, but instead, I smiled as I pulled into the driveway like some rom-com husband who doesn't know his wife is already on episode 4 of her new series with another lead actor. Our house was dark. Odd for 6:30. Usually, the porch light's on, and I can see her silhouette in the kitchen window, pretending not to watch the driveway. But that night, nothing. No candles. No music. Just stillness and the faint smell of wet leaves. I let myself in. "Claire." I called out. No answer. I tried to keep my tone light, cheerful, even, like I wasn't already suspecting something was wrong. 10 years of marriage will sharpen your instincts in weird ways. I used to think I was imagining things. Now I trust the tension in my spine more than a GPS. I placed the flowers on the dining table. The sushi would wait. The night felt off. "Claire." I called again, this time upstairs. Still nothing. I climbed the stairs, my footsteps soft, like I didn't want to interrupt whatever scene was playing out behind the closed bedroom door. But when I opened it, the room was empty. Bed made. Closet shut. Not a sock out of place. It was like a hotel suite after checkout. Neat. Sanitized. Deceptively calm. That's when I saw it, an envelope. Sitting dead center on my pillow like a white flag or a bulletproof threat, depending on how you read the handwriting. I picked it up. My name. No hearts. No smiley face. Just 4 letters. Eric. Inside was a card. "Happy anniversary. I'll be home late. Don't wait up. Claire." Nothing else. No, "love you." No, "sorry." Just the kind of note you leave your roommate when you forgot to buy milk. And that's when I noticed there was a receipt inside. A spa package. One guest. Booked for today. Claire had taken the day off work, but not to be with me. I stood there staring at the card, holding it like it was evidence at a crime scene. Because, in a way, it was. Something wasn't right. And that, my friend, was the first crack. A decade of memories balanced on a fault line I hadn't known existed. The earthquake was coming. I just hadn't heard the rumble yet. I spent the next hour pacing the house like a man trying to retrace footsteps he never took. The sushi got cold. The wine I uncorked just sat there, breathing for an audience of no one. Claire didn't call. No texts. Not even a "hey, sorry, traffic." Just silence. The kind that fills a room like smoke, slow, invisible, suffocating. I eventually sat down at the table. Just me, the flowers, and a dinner that might as well have been awake. I tried not to let my mind wander. I tried not to go to that place. But that's the thing about suspicion. It doesn't knock. It doesn't wait for an invitation. It walks through your front door like it pays rent and starts looking for proof before you even know what you're accusing. So, I did what any man with a quiet house and a louder conscience would do. I started looking. Not snooping. Just searching. Let's call it recon. First stop, the kitchen. Claire had this drawer. The everything drawer. Coupons, receipts, takeout menus, and, because irony's a fan of symmetry, an old Valentine's card I gave her back when we still held hands in public. Right beneath that was a restaurant receipt. 2 entrees. 1 wine bottle. No tip. Date. Last Thursday. I blinked. We didn't go out last Thursday. I checked the name of the place, Del Moro. Some trendy downtown bistro that takes itself too seriously. I remember Claire mentioning it once in passing. She said her new coworker raved about it. Coworker. Right. So now I had a receipt, a note, and a growing headache. Nothing concrete. But something rotten under the floorboards of our marriage, and it was starting to stink. At around 10:12 p.m., the front door opened. Claire walked in like she was late for brunch. Hair up. Makeup still holding. No guilt. No shame. Just that casual, "hi, honey" energy that doesn't match the emptiness she left behind. "Oh," she said, seeing the table. "You did something?" "Anniversary," I said flatly. Her eyes flicked to the clock. Then back to me. "Oh God, Eric." I lost track of time. I had wine with a client. "Del Moro?" I asked. She froze for half a second. "That's all I needed." "Yeah," she said carefully. "How did you?" I held up the receipt. She didn't even flinch. That hurt more than if she'd cried. Eric, she said slowly, like I was the one being irrational, I told you I've been working more. I'm under pressure. I didn't want to disappoint you, so I didn't say anything. It's just dinner. Don't make this into something it's not. I stared at her. Just dinner. You don't forget your anniversary. You don't lie about who you're with. You don't wear your nicest dress for just dinner. But I nodded. Because the scariest lies are the ones you tell yourself. It happened on a Sunday. I wasn't looking for answers anymore. I was looking for closure. Or at least a reason to stop pretending the ground beneath me was still solid. Claire was out, running errands, which used to mean groceries and now apparently meant coming back with perfume that didn't smell like anything I recognized. So I decided to do what every man hopes he never has to. I opened her laptop. Now before you call it spying, remember, trust isn't blind. It's observant. And mine had seen enough red flags to make a communist parade jealous. She never changed her password. Maybe out of arrogance. Or habit. Or because she never thought I'd have the stomach to look. But I did. Inbox first. Most of it was work emails, newsletters, calendar invites. But then, buried in a thread labeled client feedback, I found it. A message from a guy named Evan. Short, casual, careless. Last night was incredible. Still thinking about you in that dress. Or maybe out of it. And right below it, Claire's reply. You're bad. And I love it. Can't wait for Tuesday. Same hotel. I didn't blink. I didn't throw anything. I just sat there, reading it over and over again until the words blurred. Evan. The name meant nothing. And everything. I did a quick search through her contacts. Work email. Director level. Same company. Probably the one who invited her to drinks and valued her ideas more than I ever had, apparently. I leaned back in the chair and stared at the ceiling. You ever feel like your whole marriage was a group project and you're the only one who showed up with a binder? I closed the laptop. Not because I was done, but because I wasn't going to waste another second looking for more. I had the truth. I had the name. And soon enough, I'd have the plan. When Claire got home, I was in the garage, organizing. That's what I told her. She peeked in with that breezy smile and said, Dinner's in 20. You okay? I nodded. Yeah, I said calmly. Just getting things in order. She didn't know what I meant, but she would. There's a strange peace that comes over you once the worst thing has already happened. I wasn't wondering anymore. I wasn't suspicious. I was certain. My wife was cheating on me. Claire was meeting some knockoff GQ model named Evan at a hotel while I folded laundry and made sure the garbage went out on time. Once you know you've been replaced, the question stops being why and becomes, what now? That Sunday night, I made her dinner. Yeah, you read that right. Salmon, roasted vegetables, a little wine. She ate like nothing was wrong, complimenting the seasoning while texting someone under the table. I nodded along, made polite conversation, even asked about her week. Busy, she said, her fork dancing in the air. Just slammed at work. We've got a new client who's super demanding. Long nights. I didn't ask for the client's name. I didn't need to. I was done asking. Instead, I looked her in the eye, smiled gently, and said, You ever think about getting away? She blinked. Getting away? Yeah, just us. No work. No emails. Maybe the cabin for a weekend. That was our place. My grandfather left me a small log cabin up in the hills. Remote. Peaceful. Claire used to love it, before late nights at the office became more intoxicating than pine trees and silence. She hesitated. That might be nice. Her tone said maybe. Her eyes said no. But she didn't know she wouldn't have a choice. That night, while she showered, I sat at the kitchen table with a pen and notepad. I'm a planner by nature. The type who color codes vacation itineraries and alphabetizes the spice rack. So when it came time to burn down my life, you better believe I was going to do it methodically. The goal wasn't to confront her. Not yet. The goal was to make her comfortable. Lower her guard. Let her believe she was still playing chess while I was already rearranging the board. I started with the finances. Opened a new checking account in my name only. Redirected my paycheck. Canceled the joint savings auto deposit. I wasn't stealing. Just quarantining. Next, I backed up our shared cloud account. Every photo, every video, every sweet little text message she ever sent me, the ones I'd clung to when I thought we were just in a rut. Funny how digital love letters look like evidence once the trial begins. Then came the part that made my stomach turn, documenting the affair. I didn't want to. I didn't want to play detective. But facts don't lie, and I needed ammunition. The receipt from Del Moro. A photo I found of her and Evan at some company gala. Her hand on his chest. His arm around her waist like they'd done it 1,000 times. I screenshotted their emails. Even snagged her hotel reservation confirmation from the email trash folder. She hadn't even cleared her deleted items. Sloppy. Tuesday at 7 p.m. room 408. Business travel. Perfect. The next day, Claire went off to work like she always did. Perfume, power heels, smile. I kissed her on the cheek. Have a great day, I said. She turned and gave me a distracted, "You too," while typing away on her phone. I watched her pull out of the driveway. Then I called in sick. There's something eerie about being home on a weekday when you're not supposed to be. The house sounds different. It breathes differently. You can almost hear the ghosts of good memories whispering from the walls. I ignored them and opened my laptop. Step 1. Lawyer. I wasn't filing anything yet, but I wanted a consultation. I didn't need revenge that screamed. I needed it to echo. Step 2. Tech. I placed a voice-activated recorder under the passenger seat of her car. Small. Discreet. Battery good for days. I didn't want to hear moaning. I wanted to hear conversations. Lies. Plans. The in-between moments people don't think matter, but they do. Step 3. The cabin. I drove up on Thursday morning, alone. Cleaned the place. Made the bed. Set a bottle of wine on the kitchen counter. Took a picture. Then I left. Friday evening, over dinner, I looked at Claire and said, "Book the cabin for next weekend." Figured it's time we reconnected. She gave me a strange look. Like she didn't expect me to still be trying. That's the thing about people who betray you. They get annoyed when you won't just disappear. That sounds nice, she said flatly. I nodded. It will be. And here's the best part. She thought it was her idea. She probably texted Evan afterward. Something like, "He wants to go away next weekend. Can't wait to be back Monday and see you." She didn't realize the trap was already set. Because next weekend, she wouldn't be going to the cabin. I would. And I wouldn't be going alone. Monday morning came dressed like any other. Claire stood in front of the mirror applying her makeup, humming under her breath. It was the kind of scene you'd expect from a couple still in love. Her reflection in the glass, me behind her, arms crossed, watching her carefully draw eyeliner like nothing in the world was about to detonate. "You're quiet," she said, not looking back. "Just thinking," I replied. She smiled faintly. "That's dangerous." She had no idea. By then, I had everything I needed. The photos. The emails. The recordings. Oh, the recordings. Her and Evan, laughing in her car on the way to the hotel. Talking about me in the past tense. Like I was an old coat she hadn't had the heart to throw out yet. "Eric's sweet," Evan said. "But he's so background." Claire had chuckled. "He's wallpaper. Nice to look at, but you forget it's even there." That one stung. Not because it was cruel, but because I had once built this woman a life, and she was comparing me to drywall. So, I smiled back at her reflection. "Don't worry," I said. "I'm not thinking about anything dangerous." Not yet. Claire left the house around 7:45 a.m. Per usual. I waved from the porch, coffee mug in hand. The neighbor across the street, Mr. Ballinger, gave me a nod as he fetched his paper. Just another Monday in suburbia. At 9 a.m., I made a call. "Hey, it's Eric Granger. We spoke last week." "Yes, the prenup clause, exactly. Can we move forward with that document we discussed?" "Great. I'll be by Thursday to sign." I wasn't filing yet. That would come later. First, I needed to set the stage. Not for the court, but for Claire. This wasn't just about ending a marriage. It was about ending her version of it. And what better way than letting her walk herself into it? That afternoon, I texted her. "Cabin stocked. Next weekend's a go. You bring the wine. I'll bring the firewood." She replied a minute later. "Sounds good," smiling face with smiling eyes, "can't wait to unplug." Funny choice of words coming from someone who couldn't spend 10 minutes off her phone. Tuesday evening, she came home late. I didn't ask where she'd been. She didn't offer. We ate in silence, the TV doing most of the talking for us. I went to bed early. She stayed up texting on the couch. She probably thought I was asleep upstairs, dreaming of her. I wasn't. I was in the office, finalizing the last piece of the plan. I'd booked a room at the same hotel Claire and Evan had been frequenting. Room 410, right next door to 408, their usual. I'd checked the guest records. Evan was a creature of habit. So was I. But this time, habits were a weapon. On Wednesday night, Claire worked late. Translation, hotel. I arrived at 6:45 p.m. Checked into my room, and set up the camera across the hallway, angled just right from behind a janitor's cart I'd borrowed from an old buddy who did maintenance there. I didn't need video of what happened inside. That would have been sleazy. No, all I wanted was one clean shot, Claire and Evan, entering the room, hand in hand. No ambiguity. At 7:08, they walked past me. She didn't even glance in my direction, which is funny, considering I was 5 feet away. I didn't smile, didn't flinch, just clicked the remote. One still photo, crystal clear. Claire, Evan, smiling like teenagers on prom night. That was enough. I checked out of the hotel quietly. The next few days, I acted normal, collected, attentive, even. Friday rolled around, and Claire was packing her weekend bag. I'm thinking we hike on Saturday, she said. Sure, I said, zipping up my own duffel. She kissed me on the cheek. I didn't move. She didn't notice. Saturday morning, we drove up to the cabin. Fall was just beginning to set in, leaves the color of rust and fire, the scent of pine sharp in the air. Claire commented on the view, how peaceful it was, how good it felt to reconnect. I agreed. We unpacked, made lunch, went for a walk along the trail behind the cabin. She slipped her arm through mine. I missed this, she said softly. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. She thought she was winning me back. She thought this was a weekend of healing. And maybe it was, just not in the way she imagined. That night, we sat by the fire. She poured wine, talked about our future, said maybe we should do this more often. Maybe we needed to hit reset. And that's when I handed her the envelope. She looked at it, puzzled. What's this? Just something I've been working on, I said, calmly. She opened it. Inside, a printout of the hotel receipt, the emails, the photo from Tuesday night. Claire went pale. Her wine glass hovered midair. She didn't speak. Her mouth opened once, then shut. I know, I said simply. Eric. I held up a hand. No more lying. No more speeches. Just one question. She swallowed. I leaned forward. When were you going to tell me? Her lips trembled, but no words came. You weren't, I answered for her. You were just going to wait until I gave up. Until I made it easier for you to leave. Or until Evan decided he was ready for the full-time position. Claire's voice cracked. It's not like that, eh? Claire, I interrupted, you made me wallpaper. So don't act surprised when the walls start talking. She looked down at the envelope again. I don't want a scene, she said. Good, I said, rising from the table. Because I already got everything I need. She looked up. What does that mean? I didn't answer. I walked to the bedroom, grabbed my bag, and left her there. In the cabin. Alone. The thing about leaving someone in the middle of nowhere with nothing but a fire dying behind them and their own guilt for company? You don't need to say much. Silence becomes your loudest message. I didn't rush on the drive back. Didn't replay the confrontation or pump the brakes on some emotional roller coaster. I kept my hands at 10 and 2, let the engine hum, and stared straight ahead. It was done. The truth had been delivered in a plain envelope. No theatrics. No screaming. Just the clean, precise sound of a life-changing direction. I got home around midnight. Poured myself a drink. Sat on the couch in the dark and exhaled like I'd been holding my breath for months, which, in a way, I had. The next morning, I didn't get a text from Claire. No call. No apology. She was too stunned. Or maybe too proud. Either way, she stayed in that cabin overnight. Good. Let the trees hear her excuses. At 9:13 a.m., I opened my laptop and drafted an email. Subject, regarding our separation. Claire. This will serve as a formal notice that I'll be moving forward with legal proceedings. I've already retained counsel. You'll be contacted shortly. Please note the following. Your emails and hotel records have been preserved. Evidence has been submitted to my attorney in a sealed file. I've removed myself from our joint accounts. You'll retain access to your personal income. I will not be paying for Evan's dinners. The rest, we can sort through professionally. You were right about one thing, though. I was wallpaper. But now I've repainted the room. Eric. I clicked send. Let her sit with that. By Monday, the dominoes began to fall. Claire came home while I was out. I know because she left a sticky note on the fridge. Not even a full page, just a square of desperation pressed between a magnet and my grocery list. I need to talk. Not text. Please call me. I didn't. Instead, I sent a polite, 2-line message back through email. Let's keep this between our lawyers for now. I'll be civil, but I'm no longer available for coffee chats. 3 hours later, Evan emailed me. Yeah, Evan. I guess he didn't expect his name to be in the wind already. The subject line read, "Can we speak man to man?" I laughed when I saw it. That phrase. As if masculinity could be passed around like a peace pipe after you've stabbed someone in the back. I didn't respond. Let him wonder. Let him sweat. Because for the first time, I wasn't the one left in the dark. But revenge? It wasn't done cooking yet. On Wednesday, I dropped by Claire's office. Not to cause a scene. I'm not built like that. I wore a blazer. Shaved. Calm demeanor. The kind of man who gets what he wants because he looks like he already has it. I walked straight up to the receptionist and asked for Mr. Evan Kent. She blinked. "Is he expecting you?" "No," I said. "But I think he'll want to see me anyway. I'm Eric, Claire's husband." The receptionist did that little throat swallow that tells you things just got interesting. She picked up the phone and mumbled something. A few moments later, Evan came around the corner. He looked like every generic corporate climber I've ever met. Gelled hair. Forced smile. A man who bought a new watch the moment he hit six figures, just so it would peek out in every handshake. "Eric," he said, too warmly. "This isn't really—" "Just a moment," I interrupted, pulling out a manila folder. Inside, 3 pages. The hotel photo. An expense report with the same hotel billed under a client meal. And an internal company policy on misuse of corporate funds. I handed them to him. No words. Just handed them. He flipped through, and I watched the color drain from his face. I didn't need to threaten. I didn't need to raise my voice. His silence was a confession. "I have no intention of going public," I said. "I'm not here to ruin your life. But I wanted you to see what I'm holding. You think Claire's your future? Be my guest. But if she ever comes near mine again, professionally, financially, personally, this folder grows teeth." He tried to speak. I turned and walked away. Revenge doesn't always need fire. Sometimes it's better when it leaves frostbite. By Friday, Claire was officially removed from every account. The utilities were in my name. The house title was being renegotiated with the lawyer. I was staying. She was not. And yet, in her final attempt to reclaim some control, she came by in person. I was in the garden, pruning a hedge like I hadn't just demolished the entire structure of my marriage days ago. She stood there in jeans and a hoodie like some penitent college kid. "Can we talk?" she asked. I nodded once. She sat on the porch steps. "I never wanted it to end like this. Did you ever picture how it would end?" I asked, not looking at her. "I thought maybe we'd fade out, grow apart." I finally looked up. "You lit the match, Claire. There's no fading out from fire." She wiped her eye. "One tear. For show? Maybe." But I didn't care anymore. "I miss us," she said. "No," I corrected gently. "You miss the version of me who didn't know." She nodded slowly. "You were good to me," she said. "I was excellent," I replied. She laughed, but it came out hollow. "I hope one day you'll forgive me." I stood up, dusted off my hands. "I already did." "Really?" she whispered. "Yes," I said, walking toward the house. "Because forgiveness is for me, not you." I closed the door behind me, quietly, and left her outside with the wind and her regrets. After Claire left the porch that day, it was like someone took a sponge to my memory and started scrubbing. The house got quieter. Not empty, just peaceful. Like the walls had stopped bracing for impact. Like they knew the shouting was over, the lies packed away, and the air finally free of perfume and tension. I started sleeping better. Funny, right? After a breakup, most people can't eat, can't rest, can't breathe. I did all 3. Because the truth, even when it guts you, is easier to live with than fiction. Claire's things stayed packed in the garage. I gave her 2 weeks to pick them up. She never did. Her lawyer called and said she'd have someone come by. A friend. I told him that was fine. But if Evan showed up, I'd have the boxes sprayed with weed killer. They sent a courier. The man who'd once come into my home through the front door was now afraid to send his girlfriend to pick up her own sweaters. That was enough for me. I didn't say a word to anyone. Not a Facebook rant. Not a group text to friends. Not a whispered complaint at work. I let the silence work for me. But as you might imagine, secrets like Claire's don't stay buried. They just grow legs. And eventually, they learn to walk straight into her new life. It started small. A colleague who stopped inviting her to client dinners. A mutual friend who didn't want to get in the middle. Her gym instructor moved her to the wait list. It wasn't revenge. It was gravity. Actions fall. Evan, the corporate Romeo, lasted all of 4 months. Claire found out the hard way he wasn't interested in being a full-time anything, especially not a husband. He liked the thrill, not the responsibility. By the time she tried texting me again, some late-night nostalgia-fueled apology, I didn't even reply. I just archived it like a bad memory in a clean inbox. She chose her exit. I just built the door. 6 months passed. Then 9. I rebuilt. I sold the house. Not because I couldn't stand it, but because I didn't need it. Every room whispered of her. Not loudly. Just enough to be annoying. I bought a smaller place. Quieter. I picked the furniture myself. Even hung one of those ridiculous live, laugh, love signs over the kitchen sink. Ironically, of course, I'm not a man who says namaste with a straight face. One day, Claire's sister called me. Not to rekindle anything. Just out of confusion. She's not the same, she said. She's drifting. I nodded on the phone. Let her speak. She keeps talking about you like you're still in her life. I'm not, I said. I know. I thought you'd want to know. I don't. She didn't call again. Claire eventually moved cities. Started over. New job. New haircut. Same pattern. Me? I stayed. No reinvention. No Phoenix from Ashes nonsense. Just Eric. Same guy. New rules. You know what they never tell you about revenge? It doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes, it's just a life lived well, deliberately, peacefully, and far from the wreckage someone else left behind. That's where I ended up. A year after it all, I sat at a coffee shop. Laptop open. Sun on my back. Across the street, a couple laughed at a dog that escaped its leash. The world kept turning. A friend of a friend passed by and asked if I was seeing anyone. Not yet, I said with a small smile. Still bitter? No. Just better. They nodded. You ever talk to Claire? No reason to. That was the truth. Not bitterness. Not anger. Just no more space in the passenger seat for ghosts. You see, Claire expected tears. Expected rage. She thought she'd be the main character in my ruin. But I didn't give her that. I gave her indifference. And in the quiet aftermath of betrayal, that's the cleanest revenge of all.